Hello guys and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And you're not dreaming, we really are sitting next to each other for the first time ever. It's weird. I must say, you've got a nice house. It's actually not a bad house.
Apart from the mispainted walls behind me. A long story, won't go into that because we're not going to be speaking about that today.
And the weather's absolutely pissing down. The first time I come back. Guys, we are doing our Premier League predictions today. We look forward to this video pretty much every year. You did your championship ones.
I did. Last week.
But this is the big one.
The big one, the Premier League.
Let's waste no time, man. Let's jump in. Bournemouth is the first team now.
A team that, for me, aren't even bothering to try and stay up in the Premier League, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. They're going to take 20th position for me. I don't see anything other than that for them.
They don't seem to care, so what do we?
Yeah.
They're going down, and I think they're going to finish bottom.
20th.
Bournemouth. Sorry, what can you do? Palace is an interesting one because they brought in Checkdecore, Sam Johnson from the Championship, the goalkeeper. Lost Conor Gallagher. And Martin Kelly, obviously a massive name for Palace. Martin Kelly will be missed. Palace are a funny one. I think they'll either just squeeze inside the top 10 or just outside. I'm going to go 11th.
I'm going to place them a couple of places lower. I think the Premier League is going to be really competitive. And to be honest, everything from about 8th position to about 14th for me could go one way or the other. I've put them 13th. I think it's going to be really close. So I think there's going to be about 6 points between that 18th and maybe even 14th, 15th position this season.
I agree. It's so congested down there. Spurs next. Spurs are... It's Spurs, but they're actually doing business now. This is the thing, they're actually doing the business. And it's not just like the Bale money where they're buying 5, 6, 7 players. They're actually spending the money in good areas. Bissouma, Richarlison, the list goes on.
Yeah.
I'm going third. As high as third.
Cool. I mean, the one thing I would say is they've obviously got Conte. That is obviously a proven manager. That is not a Spurs manager. He's not going to be too Spursy, is he? I've gone one lower. I've gone 4th, and I do have an unpopular opinion, but I think the transfer business might be a little overrated.
Do you really?
Yeah, Richarlison, I think he could be hit and miss. Bissouma's very good. Bissouma's obviously very good. Perisic, good signing, but again, I just worry his age going to be too much for the Premier League.
But he did play, I think, every league game in Italy last season.
It's a good point.
A lot of them were substitute appearances. Don't get me wrong, but good. You know what they're doing? They're buying squad players, which they've never had. Richarlison, Kulusevski.
I just don't think it's enough for me to make up the 20-point gap with Liverpool, 21 points. It's too much, isn't it? It's too much for me. Let's talk about another team that gone through, obviously, a massive transformational change over the past few months and obviously the close of last season. Stayed up on the last day. We're talking about Leeds United next. Obviously, lost Rafinha, lost Calvin Phillips, but I have been impressed with the business they've been doing. They've brought in some good players. Question for me is they could honestly finish anywhere for me this season to a certain degree. It depends how those new players do. Rafinha and Calvin Phillips are going to be massive losses, especially Rafinha's goals. I mean, they hit those goals essentially were the thing that kept Leeds up. I don't think they're in danger though this season. I've placed them in 16th position. I think it'll take some time for the new signs to do what they need to. But I still think they're going to have a relatively good season. I think it'll be a 16th place position, but I don't think they'll be fighting to the end like last season.
I've gone one higher, 15th. I don't think 15th looks like a relegation battle, but I don't think they'll be in one. I think they will finish at least 7, 8, 9, 10 points above the relegation. But I've got a funny feeling that, again, from 15 to 9th this season is going to be so congested. It could be like 5 points that separates like 6 positions. So
it could.
I back Leeds to do well, but I am going to go 15th.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing.
Still question marks on Jesse March.
Yeah.
I know he kept them up, but is Jesse March a manager that can gain them 15, 20 points extra? I don't see it.
I don't know. The signings as well, just so many question marks around them. I actually do like the business they're doing, but obviously just some of them, they're not Premier League proven, are they? Let's move on to Manchester United. And I'm sick of hearing United, to be honest. So I keep people hearing about Ten Hag's making them better in training. Heard that about last season with Ronaldo. Sancho and Ronaldo were apparently going to be the difference. Then midway through, it was going to be old Ranić was going to be the difference. I had him in posters next to likes of Guardiola, Klopp, Mourinho, Conte. They had him in posters comparing him to likes of... I am sick of hearing about Man United's rebuild. Even with Ten Hag, they've got so much to do. Nobody wants to move there at the moment.
Literally, there are players literally saying, "Okay, well, I just won't play for the actual club I'm with.
Yeah,
just don't send me
I'd rather
there.
sit on the bench with me there." And do you know what? Honestly, this is going to shock a few. 7th position. I think they're that far behind the rest of the big 6 that I actually think they're even going to go one worse this season and go 7th.
I think they will. I really do. I think we'll see them in the Europa Conference the season after next. I mean, Ronaldo turning up to Carrington, the training ground, with Mendes to try and force a move. And it's embarrassing because every big club in Europe turning around, saying, we don't want Ronaldo because his wages are too high. We've got to change our whole playing style for him. They can't get rid of their players.
And it becomes all about him, doesn't it, ultimately?
Yeah, and then you've got Pogba, who's left on a free to the team that they paid 75 million for. I'm going 7th. Get rid of United.
And I'm going to move on to the team that I think will finish actually above United this season. I've half gave it away. West Ham, 6th position for me. Yeah. I think they're going to continue to get better and better and better. I'm enjoying the signings they're making. I still think there's some more to come. Obviously, Samaka's come in. They've finally got themselves a striker. I love what Moyes is doing. I love what West Ham are doing, challenging the big 6. And I think they'll knock one of them out the way this season. 6th position for me.
And they're keeping the players. They're keeping the likes of Rice, Cresswell, all these players. They're keeping them. Jared Bowen, who has been linked with Liverpool in the past. I'm also going 6. I back them to get Europa League for a 3rd season in a row, which will really help them then try to bridge that gap to the champion.
And who knows, even convince Rice to sign a contract. I think that's going to be a regular talking point this season, isn't it?
It is a good point.
Let's move on to Southampton, because Southampton, first time under the new ownership, obviously summer transfer window, bringing in Joe Aribo with a load of talented youngsters. The question around Southampton for me is, I love what they're doing. I think they're buying young. They're going to sell them on for maybe 2-3 times the amount. They're buying some unreal talent, but they're not proven yet. And that's the only worry for me with Southampton. Having said that, I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle. I've actually placed them 15th, though. I think some Saints fans might be hoping for a bit better, but I think there's just a couple of questions around, are they buying too much for the future and not for the now?
The likes of Lavia, Kotchap, these types of players. I know what you mean. I like the way that Saints do things. You said 15th.
Yeah.
I've actually gone 13th because I've just got a funny Hassan Hüttl's still there. I like him. I like the way they do things. And again, similar to West Ham keeping their players, they're keeping Romeu, they're keeping Ward-Prowse. They've only lost Forster, Shane Long, who's scored like 4 goals in the last 10 years. I think Saints are going to do well. I'm going 13th.
He's one of them, Shane Long, Premier League legend without really actually doing anything.
Literally, I mean, he's got the fastest goal in Prem history.
That's it.
To his name, and that's it.
And that'll be hard to beat. Let's move on to a team that might be hard to beat this season, actually. Newcastle United, we're going to be speaking about next. Got some of the business done early. Obviously, Botman coming in was obviously one of the big ones. They've done other business as well. Had a bit of a frustrating time. The Nketiah deal obviously didn't go through. They still need a striker, but I'm expecting big things. You have to remember what happened since Hal came in. They were actually en route to get European football with the form they were doing in the second half of the season. Was
unreal. I mean, they started the summer window so well, but it seems like it's kind of dried up a bit. That excitement around Newcastle's gone. They do need a striker. They've let Dwight Gale go to the Championship with Callum Wilson's injury record. How many games is he going to play? I'm going 8th.
I think they'll get the striker, and I also like the fact that they're not basically being threatened by other clubs. Other clubs know they've got the money, and they're trying to push them for the maximum. I like the fact that Newcastle going, no, we're not going to waste another 15 million more than what we valued the player. But I've also gone 8th position. I think
they'll just miss out. I think it's the season after next where they really
push on.
Really
I agree. They will push on. And 8th this season will be pushing on as well.
Oh, after last season with Bruce, no win.
It's going to be an improvement.
It's definitely an improvement. Talking about a team that I don't think can improve, City. First, move on. Do we just move on?
Yeah, first. They might get 100 points again.
They might. I think they win the league by at least 10. I think, realistically, maybe about 14 points. I think it's that much of a gap.
I honestly think they're going to do something amazing this season.
Minimum 10 points.
You know, got the likes of Grealish, Phillips that could actually be sitting on the bench. It's just mad, isn't it? Signed Haaland, needed that striker job done there. Yeah, let's move on. First position.
And they're still looking at players like Cucurella from Brighton. Like, should we just buy a 50 mil left back? It's like...
And fair play to Brighton for holding out for that 50 mil.
They are really holding out.
Yeah.
Next, Fulham.
Yeah, obviously they're going to be a bit closer to the other end of the table. They are. But for me, I'm sick of seeing Fulham go up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm just saying this for purely that reason. They're doing some business again. And I've put them 17th. I've put them 17th because I'm thinking surely somehow they've got to break the curse.
I really wanted to say that Fulham would stay up because I said at the start of the window,
you did.
Fulham might finish 15th. I've got a funny feeling that Mitrovic might get like 15 goals. But it's between them and another team. And I'm sure most people know who that other team is and we'll come on to them. I've gone 18th. I just think they'll occupy that last spot because every year I say they're going to stay up and I look stupid. So I am going to say 18th, which Fulham fans will now mean you will stay up because I've actually picked you to go down.
I'm going to be correct on this one. And as you say, it's a big year for Mitrovic and it's time for him to prove he's a Premier League striker. Questions around that. Let's move back further up the table and we're talking about Liverpool.
Yes.
Obviously, massive loss with Mane. They've obviously brought in Nunez. There's going to be some questions around that. Yeah. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? I'm not sure where to place them.
I think Liverpool finished second, a lot closer to the Spurs, Arsenals and Chelsea's than City. I really do. Do I think they'll have to fight to finish in the top 4? No. I think they'll get it quite comfortably. But I think it's going to be a boring season for them, like Chelsea last season. I had Chelsea were like third from September.
They were going to get top 4.
They were just third all season, weren't they? I think Liverpool is second all season.
And in fact, I have gone second, and I did question, is there someone that's going to break that? And then I actually looked back to last season because I think other teams below them, the likes of your Arsenals, your Spurs, have improved. Chelsea are questionably there. They've still got a bit to go, but
have they improved a 20-point gap?
That's where I was at, so that's why I've also placed them second. But I think they're going to be a long way off City this season.
I think they're just going to hope for an FA Cup or a Champions League. I don't think they're winning the league. I just can't see it. Next,
our club,
Wolves.
Yeah, the smiles stop.
It's embarrassing. So before we recorded this video, Wolves had one fit senior striker. That's now none.
Raul Jimenez, 8 for 8 weeks.
Clubs are shambles. I'm just going to say, I've got us 14th. I did have us around about that position anyway. Then we signed Collins, good defender. Yes, he came from Burnley, but good. I thought, can we finish 12th, maybe 11th? Oh, we've got no strikers again. Back down to 14th, 15th. I'm going to go 14th.
Yeah, I've gone a little bit higher, and you're going to disagree with me on this. I've actually gone 11th position. I think the combination of Gibbs White.
We don't have a striker,
but we've got Gibbs White, we've got Podence. I think Neto is going to come with some smoke, and it's mad that you're arguing with me for about 11th position. That actually shows that I'm being overly ambitious. That's how sad it is. Wolves are going downhill, guys. I'm sure you don't want to listen to us speak anymore about Wolves, but you've got the 14th. I've got them 11th.
11th. That's embarrassing.
Let's talk about another club that could go downhill this season. Leicester. I'll let you take it away.
I saw it on Twitter. The only club in the top 7 leagues in Europe not to sign a player this season. The squad's actually good. Harvey Barnes, Iheanacho, Daka, Jamie Vardy still kicking it up. I mean, they've got Madison. They've got good players, but. Tillerman is still surrounding with him. Will he stay? Will he not? Leicester's a funny one because they're Leicester. If they finish 8th, I wouldn't be that surprised. If they finish 13th, I wouldn't be that surprised. I've gone 12th.
I've gone a bit higher. I've actually gone for 9th position. I don't think they'll challenge for Europe. But I do think they still might have a good season. I think what's going to be interesting, can Brendan Rodgers last the season though?
I think he's gone.
Yeah,
and I think he's gone quite early.
He could be one of the first.
Yeah.
He wanted a massive rebuild, and so far he's been given nothing.
That was the tagline for the summer. This is the summer of the rebuild. The only club to sign
I mean, obviously, they might have signed one by the time this actually comes out.
Maybe.
But guys, unless it happens in the next day. It's not going to take me that long to edit this. So unless it happens the next day and we get caught out massively, it's still not going to look great, is it? Right, let's move on to Chelsea. And I think this is going to be an interesting one because Chelsea obviously having new owners.
Yeah.
it's hard to say. It's not an upgrade of ownership, is it, though? It's obviously like Roman Abramovich. He did a hell of a lot for the club. There's a lot going on there politically. Won't get into that. That's not why you guys are here. But new owners coming in. They've took over all the transfer business, getting rid of some of the better, for me, some of the better backroom staff. I'm not sure if it's a positive time for Chelsea, really. I really don't. And do you know what? There's going to be a big call outside the top 4 for me. I think they finish 5th.
I'll second that. I'm seconding that. I am. I just think the signings... They've lost a lot of defenders. The other teams have made a good... Arsenal, Spurs, City obviously making good signings. They lost a lot of defenders, a lot of experience. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Chilwell's injured. I'm not sure when he's back, but you look at Kante, generational talent. He's getting on. Kovacic, he's getting on. Jorginho, he's getting on. The sign Sterling... I've got a funny feeling it doesn't work out. I've just got a funny feeling with Sterling.
I really like Sterling. I just don't know whether it's right for that team. But obviously the Lukaku's not worked out. We're seeing Werner might go out as well. There might be some big things rumbling, but we've got to take it at face value. And for now at face value, I'll put them 5th, which means we're going to come on to another team, Arsenal. Now, for those that have watched channel before, there's a rumour that I'm an undercover Arsenal fan. I'm not going to help that rumour here. Because I think they're going to do something pretty amazing. And by amazing, I think they're going to finish 3rd. I think they're going to finish 3rd this season. I think Jesus,
love that signing.
He's been pushed out wide, hasn't he, a lot under City. I think he's more of a natural striker. I think we're going to see him really succeed at Arsenal.
I do.
I really like what they're doing business-wise. I think that's a massive sign in itself.
Zinchenko as well.
Zinchenko, Saliba coming back as well. You fancy him to maybe battle Ben White for that position. They've got depth now. And Arsenal, they're really starting to turn things around. It's probably what Man United should be taking note of, because Arsenal were going on the Man United route, really going downhill. I feel they've got the right people now to rebuild that club. And I don't think they're going to tear the league up or anything like that. No. But a lot better than last season. I'm going to place them 3rd position.
I'm going 1 lower. I'm going 4th. And I think Arsenal fans won't care if we put them 3rd or 4th.
Well,
because
you used to put Spurs to finish higher. At least we've got 1 each.
Yeah, we balanced it. I think Spurs have just got a little bit more. I think the Conte value gives them an extra 5 or 6 points over Arsenal compared to Arteta. Arsenal have kept players as well. They've kept players like Martinelli, like Saka. I fancy them to do well. I'm backing them over Chelsea to get Champions League for the first time since 2016. I think this is the 6th year with no Champions League football.
It's crazy.
Or since their last Champions League campaign. Really mental. But no, Arsenal... I think you're going to have a good one. Moving on to a team that looks like they might have a good one. Forest.
Yep.
Forest, I don't know, man. They're signing half of Europe. That's great.
And they had to. Let's get that out there. They had to.
Disclaimer, they've lost a lot of players.
5 of the key players are lost. Loan signings are lost. Other players that obviously left as well. Lots of grab them.
A lot of fans outside of Forest think that they've got like a squad of 40 players. They don't.
Yes, they needed it.
They did need it. They needed to sign players.
I've seen some tip Forest for relegation. I've seen some Forest fans thinking that they could get top 10. I think you've got to remember this team is going to take a lot of time to gel. Steve Cooper's going to need to see who his best players are too. That's going to take a bit of working out. I honestly think Forest could start slowly, but I think under Steve Cooper, I absolutely love this guy as a manager. I think Forest will have a really respectable first return. And I've actually gone for them to finish 14th. Now, I think that might even anger a few Forest fans because they're honestly thinking higher. I just think it's going to take a bit of time for the team to gel.
How do they know their best 11 after making so many signings?
Which I had to do, but exactly.
If your 14th angered them, they're going to be angry at mine. I've gone 16th, but I think if they finish 17th, by goal difference with the last kick of this ball next season, they won't care. They just need to stay up. I've gone 16th. I think they'll also start slowly, but I think they've signed enough quality to actually... And Forest fans are going to be absolutely buzzing. I think their home record could actually be quite good this season because they're going to be all over it. First time in the Prem in 26, 25 years, was it? 24 years?
23 years, yeah.
It's incredible. So they're going to be boisterous as hell. So, I think Forest stay up.
Let's move on to Brentford now. Now, obviously, Brentford, one of those teams that it's a bit difficult because Brentford never bring in names that you've necessarily fully heard of, but they always seem to do well. They've got really good recruitment and there's potential for them basically make everyone look like idiots because I think they're going to end up quite low in people's predictions. But you've got to remember what really spun them on to avoid relegation for me was that signing of Ericsson. Unfortunately, he didn't choose them. I'm a bit gutted he chose United over them. I can see why.
Yeah,
but
it's I'm
a bit gutted because Brentford were the team that gave him the chance. Don't forget, I would have liked to have seen maybe give him at least another year. But it's understandable.
He's not 23 anymore, though. Could you look at it that way? And at least United have Europa League. It's not like they're playing nothing. Brentford, I'm sorry, guys, but I think you're gone. I think Brentford are down. Pinnock is injured, I believe, for the first couple of months of the season. He was a big staple for them in the defence last season. Losing Ericsson, will Tony have the same season and Brainu? I'm going 19th. I don't think they'll finish bottom. I think that will be Bournemouth, but I just think for Brentford, their time will be that second season syndrome. When Sheffield United went down, Sheffield United went down rock bottom, but they finished 8th the season before.
Second season syndrome could hit.
I think that's it.
I've got 19th also, and I'm to be honest, replicate the same thoughts. So let's move straight on to Brighton, who obviously they always achieve higher than people think, and I think there's a lot of respect for obviously Graham Potter as a manager. They've of course lost one of the big stars, Basuma, but they have brought in some signings too.
They have. They brought in Julio and Kiso. They've brought in a left winger as well. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they've brought in a couple of players and they've only let a couple go. But the big one is Basuma. I think when you've got Graham Potter at the helm, I think you're guaranteed safety 100%. Definitely. And they've got the Trossards of this world and they've got the Lewis Dunks who came out this week and said he wants to finish his career at Brighton.
Good to see.
They seem like a club that just has a balanced dressing room. You never hear Brighton players having bust-ups. They seem
never any trouble.
Never any trouble internally. No. The boardroom seemed to be in sync with the playing squad, with the manager.
And he's a top manager. I really like Graham Potter.
I still think a top 10 finish. I think I might go top 10.
I've gone a little lower.
Okay.
But remember what I said? I did say that it's going to be really close. I've gone 12th. And honestly, there could be about 3-4 points between, obviously, I'm trying to think you're going to replace them about 10th.
I'm going to go 9th. I'm going to sneak them into the top 10 because last season, Wolves were like 8, 9, 10 points ahead of them at one point. And the thing is with Brighton, they very rarely lose 6 or 7 games in a row. They just pick up points all the time. I'm going to go 9th.
Just looked at who's next. Everton. What we're laughing, guys, is we did a video on Everton, got a lot of love for it this week. A lot of the people that might have subscribed because of my video about would subscribe coming from me. But we keep it honest on this channel. I'm going to be completely honest with you. When looking at the Everton squad now,
it's a bad time for them.
It's a big battle between them and Fulham for me. And unfortunately, I have gone for them to finish 18th. My reason for it is I don't see where the goals are coming from other than Calvert-Lewin. And maybe if Calvert-Lewin has one of those seasons, obviously not like last season, the season before.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. I think he bagged a hell of a lot of goals in that time. It was like 17 or something daft, weren't it? 2 seasons ago. I think do that, they'll be fine. But
that was Ancelotti.
But and also with that as well, I'm looking who else is going to get the goals other than.
And I must be honest,
Calvert-Lewin.
But I'm not even his biggest fan, Calvert-Lewin. I've got a sneaky feeling Everton are going to do a bit of business before the window ends. As per we recorded this, it came out literally, obviously, yesterday that the Vinagre deal was closed. Apparently, an hour ago, it broke that it is done.
That is good.
As Wolves fans, we know he's a good player. You might not have seen a lot of him, but he's a very, very good player, especially going forward. I'm going 17th. I think they stay up by 1 place.
At least you can be not angry.
I'm not just saying that to keep the subs and keep Everton happy. I do mean that. I think
I'll be getting a lot of hate. Right, last team, Villa, and I think
interesting.
I believe we must still have the same place here because there's only 1 place left. Obviously, I think they made some great signings at the start of the season, but they didn't finish the season great, did they?
No, well, they were flirting with relegation. We did a relegation video and added Villa to it just to annoy them, even though they didn't deserve to be there. I think Villa break the top 10 for the first time in a long time. I'm gonna go 10th, just like I'm assuming you.
Yeah, we've both got 10th last spot available.
It's been coming. They've been spending the money. I think Gerrard had a full pre-season now. Obviously came in November, December last season after Smith got the boot. Boubacar Kamara, they need a striker. That's the one thing.
They do need a striker.
They do need a striker.
Yeah, like a lot of clubs.
Carlos as well, they've brought in, as I mentioned, Kamara.
Looking forward to seeing him.
Villa fans think they need a central midfielder. I don't see that.
They might need a number 8, maybe, but
Ramsey's coming through.
It depends what the goal is. Because if the goal is Europe, I probably agree and say they also need a striker. It depends what the goal is. Yeah. I think I've gone respectable with Villa, actually saying top 10.
I think 10th is. I think Villa would take.
So Villa fans can't be too angry at us.
You've got a sub for that.
Yeah, you got some for that. Right, guys.
There's our predictions.
That is our predictions. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as always. Actually, I usually say that on every video. I don't actually want to know the comments in this one because it's usually just you guys are complete idiots.
Well, Spurs, we've done well for Spurs and Arsenal. You guys let us know your thoughts. Some clubs like Forest fans, do you think you'll get top 10? I find that weird. I don't know. I can't see Forest getting top 10. There we are.
Yeah.
We'll see how many
our
subs
first ever video together. We're probably going to lose a lot of subs. Guys, hit that like button. Please do subscribe and we'll catch you on another video. Take care. Goodbye.